Welcome back to the Nurse Tori Show, where we talk about all things health and wellness so you can stop being confused about how to take care of your body and start crushing your goals with confidence. Today, I'm very excited to have my first guest ever. Notice we're still in the car. We have just brought our guest right to the car. That wasn't my plan, but there's construction happening at my house. And so, we're moms, we're business owners, we're homeschooling our kids, we got all things going on. We got to be flexible, right? You guys, we're going to reach our goals. Today, I'm excited to introduce to you Jen. She is the owner of Wonder Oral Wellness. She lives in upstate New York with her husband, Mike, and 4 kids. She homeschools her kids and is passionate about all things health and wellness. Her favorite hobbies are cooking, singing, which I have to ask you to sing something, and hiking. This past year, her passion for health has extended specifically to oral care, and she loves to educate and help people have the best oral care they can have. So Jen, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, like I said, girl, you're my first guest. It's just a wild ride. Just hang on, okay? We're gonna have some fun here. I wanted you on because I found your company on Public Square. And I love your products. First of all, they're clean. They're made in the USA. You're going to tell us all about your products. Public Square is where I find most of my affiliate companies that I work with. And just so you guys know, I am an affiliate for Wonder Oral. And all of our discount codes will be in the show notes, linked below, because they share our values. So why am I going to be recommending to you guys products that are made in China and we don't even know what's in them? We don't know who the people are behind them. And so Public Square is just a really safe place to find companies that share your values and that you can support with your money, right? Because it matters. So,
Absolutely.
All right, Jen, tell me about Wonder Oral Wellness and how you got started in the business of oral health.
Yeah. So just to answer that question, I'm going to give you a minute of the backstory. This started off with a mom just like me. Her name was Lauren. She actually was the founder of Wonder. And after having 3 kids, her teeth were just a wreck. She had so many cavities. Her teeth not only had cavities, but they were translucent. Like she felt like she was losing her teeth.
Wow.
So she did a deep dive in oral care, and she already loved all things like healthy and wellness, but really dove deep into oral care and realized like, wow, what I'm using isn't helping and it's not working and there's got to be something better. So she did a deep dive into what she would have wanted in a product and couldn't find anything that had everything she wanted. So she actually created Wonder. And I was a follower and a customer of Wonder for many years. I loved health and wellness, so it just was right up my alley, loved her content. And it was time for me to take my son to the dentist, and the dentist told me that my son had a cavity between his adult and baby tooth. And right at, the same time that I had started using Wonder. So he actually suggested that I would get something remineralizing. And I was like, wow, surprised that he would even suggest that, because I was like, you're not even you're like a traditional dentist. You're recommending something remineralizing. I was like, wow, that's awesome. So I immediately put my son on Wonder, and between that time, the opportunity to take over Wonder came. So I did that, and now I'm so excited to bring the mission forward. But then 6 months later, I took my son back to the dentist, and he totally remineralized his cavity. The dentist was so shocked, and he was like, wow, whatever you're doing is working, and keep doing it. So that's just kind of the backstory of Wonder. It started with a mom that needed help with her teeth and another mom who wanted help with her kid. And here we are.
Love that. And it's funny that the dentist was surprised. You're like, well, why are you so surprised? Weren't you the one that told me to use this? But I guess he doesn't see that very often. It's so funny you bring that up, because after my first child, I had 6 cavities because I actually went off of fluoridated toothpaste because I was like, I know this ain't good for my baby. I don't know what. So I just cut it out without really doing much research. And I definitely was not using remineralization toothpaste. I was just using like fluoride-free toothpaste. 6 cavities.
Wow. Such a bummer.
And so can you imagine how the dentist shamed me when I went in and they were like, see, that's what happens when you get rid of fluoride. That's what happens. All these healthy people out there. And I was, I'm a nurse, and I was a nurse at the time. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I just thought I was doing what was best for me and my kid, and just total shaming at the dentist.
That's such a bummer.
Yeah. Well, okay. So since we're talking about it, fluoride-free options have been around a while. But the dangers of fluoride are just now becoming mainstream, with the MAHA movement. And recently it came out, all of the dangers of fluoridated water and how we really need to be looking at that for our health. And my dentist would say the only way to strengthen teeth is with fluoride. So how do your products help fortify teeth so we can feel confident saying goodbye to our fluoridated toothpaste?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. And just so you know, I was just like you for many years. I just knew that fluoride was not the best option and felt like I didn't want that with my kids. And I just chose like fluoride free, like toothpaste, and thought like those would be great. And, my oldest son has had several cavities. So it's just like, I don't know why this is not fully working. Anyway, we use hydroxyapatite. So it is a compound, it's naturally occurring, made out of oxygen, calcium, hydrogen. And so it is a naturally occurring compound. And people don't know that most of our enamel, actually 97% of our enamel, is made out of hydroxyapatite.
Oh, wow.
Our body actually naturally has it. Our body does not have fluoride. So when we use hydroxyapatite in our products, it builds your enamel that's already there. So any like small microscopic gaps or scratches that are on your enamel, it just goes there and fills in those gaps and just keeps building your enamel so you can prevent having cavities from then on. So it's an
So
amazing
simple.
replacement. Yeah, it's so simple. We use hydroxyapatite that is not synthetic. It is from grass-fed cows. It is the best we can find. And it's an amazing replacement for fluoride. Because like you said, fluoride is just coming out on how toxic it is. I don't know if you know a bit of the background, but fluoride was introduced into toothpaste in 1914. And according to Robert Lustig, who wrote the book Metabolical, I don't know if you read that book, but it's awesome. He points out that fluoride was an environmental toxin somehow turned into a phenomenon for your mouth. We're not really sure how that got connected to, but they needed somewhere to put this fluoride, and they put it in water and they put it in our toothpaste, and our cavities are not better. In fact, we're like, it's like we're the highest or the highest occurring time in the history of cavities. Like 92% have cavities, and out of kids, it is like the biggest disease kids are facing, because a cavity, in a sense, is a disease in your tooth. So if you're considering diseases, it is what kids are battling the most. And 90% of adults have cavities too. So fluoride wasn't really fully helping us,
Yeah. Well, it's so interesting because I find this with pretty much everything when it comes to health and specifically nutrition. We know more about our bodies than ever before, but we are sicker than ever.
You're like, what?
My first podcast ever was on that topic. I'm like, what are we doing here? And so this is just another one of those examples that the tools God gave us are there, and we are kind of messing it up with the things that we're adding, trying to be so smart. And it's very interesting because if there is such a natural solution, then why aren't we using it? Well, there must be another reason. It's like the whole sick care system. And I'm just excited for the MAHA movement because of that, because these topics are going to be brought to light. We're going to have a conversation about them, hopefully. But it's because of moms like you and the woman that started this company that are saying, no, I cannot find a great option for my kid for whatever it is. And so I'm just going to start my own company. And I love it. I love it so much. Okay, so the goal of my podcast is to simplify all things health and wellness, right? Because there's all kinds of bad information out there. So thank you for just breaking that down in a very simple way so that people can feel confident when they go to their dentist and their dentist says, would you like fluoride treatment for your kid? And you say, no, thank you. And the dental hygienist gives you the eye roll and it's like, okay. And marks in her little book, like they do for me, right? Like a very condescending, judgy, oh, you're one of them. Yes, I am. I wore my MAHA hat to the dentist last time I took my kids. I was like, just so you guys know, in case anyone wants to come at me with something, I've got the site here where I can give you the research on fluoride. And it was just a warning. It was a warning with my hat. Don't even come at me with those questions. Okay, so can you explain the importance of oral health and its impact on overall health?
Absolutely. That's a great question as well. I think most people think oral care, like, oh yeah, like let's brush our teeth twice a day, get super white teeth, and hopefully
Yeah,
not get cavities. But it's so much more important than that. Actually, your oral health is 100% related to your overall body health. Your gut health begins in your mouth. Whatever you put in your mouth is going to affect your entire body. And did you know that you actually have to get dental clearance when you have heart surgery? Because if you have an infection in your mouth, it's going to go through your whole body. Like most
absolutely.
people don't realize, like, wow, oral care is so important because it's the beginning of your whole health, right? And we all have this thing called oral microbiome, which is just, the bacteria that's in our mouth. But we have a lot of good bacteria. And that's a really good thing because actually God made our bodies to heal itself, like with the right environment and giving it the right support. Our body is made to heal itself, even prevent cavities. Our saliva is very remineralizing, and our body or our teeth are always either in a state of demineralizing or remineralizing. So as long as you're supporting your body with what it needs, you're going to have a great oral microbiome. And hopefully, just that's going to support your whole body and your gut. So when using things like harsh mouthwashes or, conventional toothpaste, they're constantly disrupting your oral microbiome because they're killing everything, all the good, all the bad. Like it's just killing all your bacteria. And that's actually just setting you backwards every single time. That's why you're not seeing like a change in cavities. Like we need to support the oral microbiome that is there because it's there to already help protect you against cavities. Something like Wonder is just there to support what your body's already trying to do. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. And this might be a little off topic, but like really before I really kind of dove into this topic for myself, all I cared about was not having bad breath, not getting cavities, and having white teeth, like you just said,
Right.
right? And so it's crazy to think that that's so much bigger than that, and what we're doing to achieve those things is actually making it worse by all of
Exactly.
the mouthwash and all the bleach we're putting on our teeth. And so what are some chemicals or what are some things in like a traditional toothpaste, like a Crest or a Colgate, whatever you would buy at the store, that is really not great for our oral health?
Yeah, 100%. So kind of like food, first of all, you're going to look at the ingredient list and you're not going to be able to pronounce a lot of the words anyway. But a couple things that stand out are SLS is the foaming agent, and people love foaming
Is
because
that the same thing that's in shampoo?
yes, the same thing that's in shampoo is in
Oh,
your toothpaste. So SLS, that's making your mouth foam, and you're like, oh, this is great. I'm like cleaning my teeth so well. It's
okay.
actually,
Sodium lauryl sulfate, right? So if you're
yeah,
looking at the, okay.
yeah. So it's a known carcinogenic. So not the best, right? And we're putting that in our body. And I know that we're spitting and rinsing, but whatever you put in your mouth, you are absorbing to some degree. So we're brushing twice a day. Why do we have to use chemicals to do that twice a day? And then let's not talk about like the dyes, right? So Red 3 just
Absolutely.
got banned, but there's still other dyes in toothpaste. So why are we giving that, especially to kids, right? When we know now that it's affecting their brain and all kinds of things in their health. So, why are we using SLS? Why are we using dyes just so that, it's like fun and appealing for a kid, and fluoride, like, and now it's coming how it is, it's coming out how it can lower IQ in children. It can cause osteoporosis. Like, what?
Yeah.
How is that happening? And it can disrupt thyroid. So that's just like the beginning and not to mention like they need tons of preservatives because there's water added to it. So whenever you add water to whatever your ingredients are, you need a preservative and a stabilizer or they're going to go rancid. So
Oh,
that's like,
interesting.
that's kind of why, now we have to use so many preservatives. And that's why I wonder, we specifically went with a powder. People are like, what's a powder? And we're like, well, we use a powder so we don't have to add water and I don't have to use any preservatives. So it's just the raw ingredients that are there to help you.
I love that. That's so
Yeah.
amazing. Talk to me about your three. I think you have three different powders. Is that correct? And I have
I
it
have
here.
four. Yeah, I actually have four because,
Okay.
yes, I have peppermint.
Okay. So, and you guys, the packaging is so high end, I have to say too. And you can buy refills for this. So,
My baby.
also eco-friendly. We've got this beautiful glass, right? This glass
Yeah,
container here. And then you can buy the refills and get it on subscription as well so that
that's
you
right.
never run out.
Right. So we have peppermint. We have a whitening one. We have a kid's strawberry. So for kids, there is an option for you that is a little bit sweeter. It tastes like strawberry. So
Nice.
it's still fun. Your kids will love it. My kids, that's what they use. And they love the
Okay.
strawberry. And then
Okay.
we also have an unflavored in case you really don't want any flavor. And you
Okay.
could add your own because it's just if you had something else you wanted to add to it, you're more than welcome to do that.
Well, interesting. Like, what would someone add to the powder?
Anything that would be dry, like you could add more cinnamon, you could add raw cacao powder because
Okay.
it's actually very beneficial for your mouth.
Which,
Side note,
so that's
and
not going to stain the teeth?
no, it's actually not. And little side note, I'm gonna give you, most people don't know, but we are gonna try to come out with a chocolate peppermint because raw cacao powder is so good for your oral health. Not
Oh my
because of
gosh.
I'm actually doing it more for the health benefits. Yeah,
Wow.
so you could add more cinnamon, you could add cacao powder, anything that's dry. Like we use like dried strawberry. So if you had another fruit flavor that you could get that was a powder,
Okay.
feel free to add that and you could make whatever you want.
Oh, wow, how fun. I love that. And that's like, that is just how simple the ingredients are in your products, which I think is so amazing. Okay, so question, what is in your whitening powder that makes it whiten your teeth?
Yeah, so they're almost all, the base of the recipes are all the same. So you're still always going to get the remineralizing, hydroxyapatite, clay, calcium carbonate, baking soda. So all those health benefits are in all of them. Even cinnamon and clove, they're there for a reason because they're antibacterial. They all are healing. But the whitening has a little bit of activated charcoal, and there is like some controversy in that where people think it might be too abrasive, but we have gotten ours third party tested. So it actually falls in the category of being safe for everyday use. So we do recommend using that one like 2 to 3 times a week alongside another flavor, but I know people that use it every day too, and they're 100%. So it has a little bit of activated charcoal. We don't have a ton of it. It's just there to add a little extra brighten, to smile.
Okay. Now I do have a specific question because, and I probably could have looked on the label, but I've already taken mine out of the box and it doesn't have the instructions on there. So when I use the tooth powder, I've been rinsing, but should I just spit so that I leave the remineralization powder on my teeth so it can actually work?
I think you can. You 100% can. I think it's going to come down to your personal preference. Like if you really don't want it in your mouth, like you can rinse, but it's all those ingredients are basically edible. So you're not harming yourself leaving it on. In fact, I do believe like the longer you leave the hydroxyapatite, the more probably your teeth would remineralize. So if you're okay with having a little bit extra in your mouth for 10 minutes, like I would say 100%, yeah, don't
Yeah,
rinse.
because it can be a little gritty, but after a while, like you could just spit it out. Yeah, it is kind of personal preference. Okay, very interesting. Well, okay, so I really, really quickly, I want to go back and touch on the inflammation that you were talking about with kids. So, you guys, when you hear about inflammation in your body, that can eventually lead to chronic disease like cancer, diabetes, heart disease. Okay, so your oral health is so important, and this is just a really great way to start making that a priority and teaching your kids too. Because if we've got cavities, then we know that there's inflammation happening. And inflammation is just like, if you think about when you scratch your skin and it gets like red and irritated, and that's sort of what's happening on a very like small level in your mouth. And then if you're eating high sugar foods and your kids, your diet's high in sugar, it's high in stress. And I'm not just talking about kids, this is adults too.
Yeah.
You're not getting outside enough. You're not moving your body. Your sleep is terrible. All of those things also contribute to inflammation, which can drive up your blood sugar. And chronic high blood sugar leads to metabolic disease. So it's not just one thing, right? So this is such an important piece of the puzzle. And I learned so much from you today, and I just can't thank you enough
Yeah,
for sharing. Okay, but the
absolutely.
first product that I actually asked to try of yours was your mouth tape, because I've been mouth taping for a while just for the benefits of that to help with sleep. So tell me about your mouth tape. And it's so cute too. I'm going to show everyone.
Okay, good. Yeah. I love the mouth tape. So mouth tape it's a tool, first of all, I think to bring an awareness to how you're breathing. So a lot of people are mouth breathing probably more than they realize. And it's just a
Absolutely.
tool Yeah, it's a tool to bring awareness and really just to retrain yourself to breathe through your nose as much as possible. There's all kinds of benefits to nasal breathing. When we breathe through our nose, our body mixes the air that we're breathing in with nitric oxide and helps us absorb more oxygen. So there's like a win-win, right? And especially when we're sleeping all night, we want our brain to get as much oxygen as it can. So it not only helps your sleep, it actually improves your breath. It helps you stay calmer. It reduces like blood pressure. So overall heart health. So
Yes.
there's so many benefits if we want to go down the road of like nasal breathing, but just also mouth breathing. What's bad about it is that we're drying our mouth. So we're getting rid of the saliva that needs to stay on our teeth. So it is actually a big cause of cavities in and of itself. But then also when we're breathing through our mouth, we are bypassing the nasal passages that are there to remove toxins. So pathogens like allergens, dust, you want to nose breathe as much as you can because it's just overall healthier for your body. I would recommend you getting mouth tape just to start training yourself and getting yourself into like nasal breathing as much as possible, especially like through the night, because people are getting more and more sleep apnea. And if they can just train themselves to breathe through their nose, there'd be a huge breakthrough just by just doing that. Like not getting, on the machines and all that. Like just start getting your body trained to nasal breathe.
Absolutely. And, I have a lot of my clients I recommend it for, especially if they're having trouble sleeping. So some people are hesitant to try it. I don't know if you've heard about this, like because it just feels scary to them. Any advice, any tips to kind of ease into that?
Yeah. So my advice is if you're feeling like you're not sure about wearing it all night, I'm going to say start during the day. Take a 2, 3, 4 hour block where you're not going to be talking or eating and wear your mouth tape just to start training yourself. Just do it for a couple hours at a time and just start slow during the day. And then you'll realize like, oh, I'm still breathing. Like this is not like I'm not choking or dying.
Yeah,
And just as a safety precaution, there is a tiny little slit in the front
there
of it.
is.
There
Yeah.
is. So like if your body's not going to stop breathing, like if you have to breathe through your mouth, like it's still going to. But I would say start at small doses, like a couple hours at a time, just to like get you used to it.
Yeah, that's great advice. And you guys, breathing through your nose throughout the day is just as important as breathing through your nose at night. So when this was brought to my attention a couple years ago, it used to be an insult to call someone a mouth breather, which is so funny. And I was totally a mouth breather. When I finally realized I was walking around with my mouth like agape, like
Right.
just
It's
breathing
so
like that.
right.
Yeah. And you don't realize you're doing it. And so when you become aware of it, it's just like, oh, close that mouth and start breathing through your nose. I have to say, probably I've been mouth taping for probably a year now, and only twice, and it's twice, and I remember both occasions, I woke up in the middle of the night, like sat straight up and like felt like I couldn't breathe. Like like a full panic. And I have my eye mask on, I got my earplugs in, I got my frownies on. I mean, like I'm like a hot mess. Like I can't even believe my husband wants to, sleep next to me. But I like ripped it off, and I just I said, "Oh, interesting." Like that was towards the beginning of when I used it.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's only happened twice. And I was just like, whoa. And I still use it. It's just like, I know the benefits of it are so powerful. So it's, something to try, but definitely during the day. I love that tip so much. Well, okay, you have other products as well. Would you like to highlight any of those products?
Yeah, absolutely. We do have a couple books. So if you really want to do a deep dive into what we were just talking, like the mouth
Yes.
breathing, the book Breath is incredible. At first, I was just like, I had no idea what I was getting into. The first couple pages were blowing me away. So if you want a deep dive, I would say get that book. The Dental Diet book is great for just teaching you how to eat in order to never get cavities again, because obviously nutrition is a big part of it. So the Dental Diet book is awesome as well. We also carry Floss, and our floss is 100% silk, so there's no forever chemicals on it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, flossing is amazing, actually. So many health benefits. You get rid of so much bad bacteria just by flossing. They're saying now that flossing can help prevent Alzheimer's because of the bacteria that it's getting rid of, and it's not going to your brain and other parts of your body, which is crazy in itself. Well, flossing is super healthy, and I would try to, get something that does not have forever chemicals on it for sure. We also have tongue scrapers. I highly recommend tongue scraping. That's my alternative to mouthwash, by the way.
Okay.
I don't know. I've been tongue scraping every day for a year, and I kid you not, I am less sick. I am so prone to getting colds and sinus infections. I have been noticeably less sick. I don't actually know if I've gotten a cold this past year. And I'm going to say that tongue scraping, I'm giving a lot of credit to that. And I'm not just disrupting my oral microbiome, but I'm getting rid of a lot of bad bacteria that's on my tongue. And your tongue is a part of your body that detoxes. So it's just a great way to get like bad bacteria off in the morning without disrupting your whole microbiome. So tongue scrapers, and then we have toothbrushes, of course, and we have some bamboo ones because, you know, we value being eco-friendly. And then we also have our recycled ones, and because we love that they're recycled. So yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Can I ask real quickly, how do you encourage your kids, or how did you switch your kids from like the tube toothpaste to powder toothpaste?
I thought it would be harder. It really wasn't. They just actually kind of thought it was a fun change. That, you know, at first it's more like the texture is a little bit more gritty, like you've
Yes.
experienced. And my kids, although they've already been used to like healthy living, so that to them they were just like, okay, here's another swap that we've done. And now they don't even think twice about it. They actually have used some of the other healthier toothpaste that we had bought in the past. And they were like, this is so sweet. Like it was just like, they were like, this tastes like frosting. They actually didn't even want them. Now they're just like so used to the powder that they really don't even care. It
Yeah.
really, and I think you can try and make it fun. Like say, hey, this is a new experiment. Like, let's try brushing our teeth with powder, and tell them like 150 years ago, this is all people used. Like toothpaste is a newer thing that people use. Like our like Egyptians used to use tooth powder to clean their teeth. So just like try to make it fun, like put on some music, tell them like, hey, let's try something new and let's try the strawberry. And, you know, I think within a week or less, honestly, a couple of days, they're like, okay, if it's good for my teeth, like I'll use it. I feel like
Absolutely.
it's not a hard swap.
And the options you have sound great, and your kids can choose. And you sell it to them, hey, you don't have to go to the dentist as often, and you get them drilling on your teeth, right? We don't like that if
Right.
you do some things daily to help take care of your oral health. Well, Jen,
Absolutely.
thank you so much for taking the
Thank
time to
you,
share your knowledge
Tori.
with us and your wonderful products. Again, you guys, on Public Square, American owned, like female owned company, homeschool mom, and a proud wife, and just a great American family. And so we love supporting you. You guys,
Thank
I'm going to link everything in the show notes and all my discount codes down there too, so you can try these products and just make simple swaps, right? We don't have to get rid of everything, but we are going to make simple swaps this year in 2025 and just keep it simple. And this is an easy thing that you guys can start with today.
Thank you, Tori.
Thank you. Okay, see you next time.